Next, stage and screen actor Ray Fearon goes on a journey of discovery about the bard. It's part of the BBC's Shakespeare on Tour season to mark the anniversary of his death. In the first of our three-part series, tonight we get more of an insight into where the playwright's career took off in London back in the 16th century.
Friends, Romans, countrymen, lend me your ears. I come to bury Caesar, not to praise him. The evil that men do lives after them. The good is oft interred with their bones.
Words from Julius Caesar, performed to an audience more than 400 years ago, when Shakespeare's Globe Theatre opened on London's Bankside.
And ever since, it's been a place most associated with one of the world's most admired playwrights. So it may come as a surprise that Shakespeare's first taste of success began not at the original Globe, but on a stage just around the corner. Right here, where the Rose Theatre stood.
It was built in 1587, the first theatre of its kind south of the river, and was the place to go for play-hungry Elizabethans looking for some light entertainment.
So, Pepe, what kind of venue was the Rose?
The Rose was the first open-air playhouse on Bankside. It was incredibly popular. There would have been something like 250 different plays performed during its lifetime here. It was built by a gentleman called Mr. Philip Henslow. He was an entrepreneur, a businessman. He saw an opportunity to make money from theatre.
Who performed here?
Many important theatre troupes performed at the Rose, including Lord Strange's men, and Shakespeare would have been a very important part of Lord Strange's players.
We know so much about the Rose Theatre thanks to a 400-year-old diary written by Philip Henslow. It's kept at Dulwich College, where Keeper of the Archives, Callista Lucy, has agreed to show it to me.
So, Callista, this is it, the Henslow diary.
Yes, it's a unique document that survives from the late 16th, early 17th century, and Henslow has used it to record all the plays that were on in the theatre that he owned, the Rose. And so we've got the names of the plays and the box office takings. We can see that there's a cycle of plays every 3 weeks or so, because people went to the theatre much more often in those days. It was one of the few forms of entertainment, so they needed a constant supply of new plays.
The Elizabethans' appetite for theatre was voracious. It's likely as many as a third of Londoners saw a play every month. It meant demand for new plays was constant, music to the ears of any young playwright looking to make their mark on the capital.
So you can see here the new play with N.E., and here we've got Henry VI, the new play by Shakespeare, 3rd of March, 1592.
So this shows that Shakespeare's Henry VI premiered at the Rose Theatre. That's amazing.
Absolutely, and it was a complete box office sellout because it takes £3, 16 shillings and 8p. And if you see that in context, 2 nights before, the Marlowe play, The Jew of Malta, had only taken 10 shillings.
Oh, so it's Outward Marlowe in with Shakespeare.
Absolutely.
And Henslow's diary shows that Henry VI was so popular and profitable, it was staged a dozen times over the next few months to an appreciative Elizabethan audience.
So what happens if a play does badly?
If a play does badly, it's just dropped from the repertoire, it doesn't recur again. But if a play does well, like Henry VI, it just recurs again and again in the manuscript.
Without Henslow's fascinating diary account, Shakespeare's connection with the Rose Theatre may never have been discovered. The place where the young ambitious playwright got his first big break. Be not afraid of greatness. Some are born great, some achieve greatness, and some have greatness thrust upon them.
Ray Fearon there, exploring stories unearthed by academics from the records of early English drama. Tomorrow he'll be delving into what became known as a night of errors. More on the BBC's Shakespeare on Tour season on the BBC website, the address you can see there.